wrestling fans. Welcome to One Wing Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna Denai. Forgot my name there. And joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
Well, you got my name right, so that's at least a start, right? So that's good. That's good. Well, it's one of those days, man. It's one of those days. I
One
don't
of
know
those
how
days.
else to express it. You have those days where it's like, stuff happens, but I've learned in my life just to realize once it starts happening, I'm like, this is probably just going to be one of those days and
Mm,
roll with it because what else at that point can you truly do?
yeah, no, fair enough. Fair
Yep.
enough.
So yeah, it's just been that kind of day. But man, at least it was warmer than yesterday. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, warmer than yesterday, and apparently we're expecting snow next week, right?
What?
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, okay. So we've gone from 20 degrees to, semi fall weather
Mm-hmm.
and then to snow in November. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm already over it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
whatever. Whatever. You know what improves everything?
What's that?
Wrestling.
Wrestling does, in
Yes.
fact, improve everything.
Especially if you're watching two gigantic beasts go at it in the ring.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. When we're huge fans of big man wrestling, I should call it,
Exactly. The
lots of
slower the
man meat.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
lots of
slower the
man
better.
meat
The more they club
slapped
each other,
around.
the better. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the slower it
Mhm.
is, you know how I enjoy my slow wrestling. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, we
yeah.
don't need any of that flippy flip stuff,
No,
right?
no,
No.
flippy
Yeah.
doos, like
Yeah.
that stuff that Will Ospreay does. Like, I mean, come on,
Forget it.
We've
Yeah.
seen it once, we've seen it all the time, right? Come
Well,
on.
exactly. And for those of you who think we're being serious right now, we're not. This is the show where you can find the elite worldwide. Okay. Tonight's time for Dynamite, where we see hopefully the actual namesake of the elite tonight. And we're going to give you our
Mm.
expectations for the show, what we hope for, what we might think is good or bad, our potential match of the night. And we're going to go watch the show. And then we're going to return here and talk about the show with all of you, see if our expectations were met. Were they destroyed, dashed into a small pile of splinters on the ground? And most importantly, did anything in the show reach the Omega level? Which tonight, oh, I'm not going to say it. Forget. I'm
Don't
not even
do
going to
it. You
say it.
already
I'm not going
ruined
to
it
say it
last
because
week.
every time I say Kenny's showing up on the show, and I give a guarantee, the
He
man
hasn't
never
done it.
even touches the show. So,
Hasn't done it.
yep, yep. So no. Anyway, so we have a card to review. Are you ready to get into tonight's matches?
I'm ready to get into this. Let's go.
Let's rock and or roll. Okay. So tonight we are going to hear from AEW World Champion Jon Moxley.
Yeah. So my assumption is we're gonna hear from Jon Moxley, probably interrupted by, there's someone else we're gonna hear from as well. So
Oh, so
so
you think they're
maybe.
just going to have their thing at the same
Yeah, I'm
time?
thinking it's
Okay.
probably gonna be the same time,
Well,
right?
let's do it at
Maybe.
once then. We're going to hear from MJF too. Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna hear from MJF and Jon Moxley, obviously building their match um for next week, or maybe MJF wants to address why he was put through a table. Um Very, very strange. Just FYI, it has been confirmed why MJF was put through that table. By the way, he's filming a movie right now. He's acting as one of the Von Erichs.
Yes.
So that's why he was away. But anyways, besides that, this promo should be good. Actually, really good, because you got two of the top guys on the mic. Like, I mean, Moxley is just Moxley on the mic, right? Love of wrestling. MJF is, you never know what you're going to get from this guy, right? It's always fire, but it's you never know what he's going to be addressing. So does he address the issues with Moxley in the upcoming event, or does he address what happened to him, kind of thing? So depending on how
Right.
this happens, I mean, from these two guys, it's gonna be good. That's all. It's just gonna be good. I'm just very curious about what exactly they're going to. Because remember, we have another week ahead of us, right?
Yeah. There's one more
So,
Dynamite before the pay-per-view.
so
So
who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, I'm
yeah.
interested.
Oh yeah, I'm interested too. I mean, we got two of the top guys in the business on
Mm-hmm.
the mic. And I look, over the last year, as those of you who've been loyal listeners to our show know, our love of Jon Moxley has grown over the last
Yeah,
year. From someone we're like, yeah, Jon Moxley kind of bores us, to oh my god, this guy's
this
amazing.
guy's good. This
So
guy's
yeah,
really good.
exactly. So yeah, anytime Moxley's going to be given a mic, I'm all in. Anytime MJF's given a mic, unless he's going to rant about Tony Khan, I'm all in. Or he's
All
going to
in,
leave
agreed.
answering machine messages. We all know how I felt about that. But hey, his recent work has been absolute utter gold, and
Yes.
I I cannot wait to see what the two of them may come up with together tonight. If in fact they are promoing together, they may
Exactly. We'll
not
find out.
be promoing together. What if MJF's is like a from beyond segment because he's busy recording, what is it, like Iron Fist 2, or I'm sorry, he's playing a Von Erich, right?
He's playing Von Erich. Apparently, he's playing the not Von Erich brother who they brought in at one point. I don't know. Listen,
Not
I just
so he's not Kerry Von Erich, or
no, he's not one of the actual Von Erichs. He's he's like maybe Larry. I don't even know. I'm making names up now.
Larry Von Erich. Ralph Von Erich.
Ralph.
The long lost distant cousin. Cool. Well, next up we have the Acclaimed and FTR taking on Swerve in Our Glory and the Gun Brothers.
So yeah, this is an interesting match because like I don't really care for it because they have some pretty good tag teams and some other ones. Like I mean, I really care about Swerve in Our Glory. I love the FTR. I really like the Acclaimed and the Gun Club. I can, take it or leave it, right? Like sometimes they do their job. They're a bunch of annoying just brats, and that's really all they are. But they're not bad in the ring. I must say, they're not bad in the ring. Hey, your dad's Billy Gunn. I guess he's probably trained you with other people. But anyways, I think this match is gonna be shenanigans, like Shenanigan City. So that's why I'm not really into this match. I'm hoping for a good match. But I just see shenanigans coming out here. I hope Swerve cheats again. It made sense,
like our
but
hope. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be it could be really good, it could be really bad, right? So I don't know. It's one of those matches tonight.
Right. Yeah. Don't give too decisive an opinion on this match.
I can't. I just can't do it.
I don't know. Yeah. No. It's like when you describe the Gun Brothers. That's kind of how I feel about the Acclaimed.
Got it. Take it or leave it.
They can wrestle. I don't love them. I don't even really like them anymore. They just seem like a gimmick with some skills to me. What I'm kind of sad about though is how I watched FTR take on Aussie Open, and it was my match of the week 2 weeks ago, right? I saw FTR take on, the other part of United Empire, Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan. I'm like, good match if you're an FTR fan. And yet now when they're back in AEW, this is what I get them in?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
An 8-man tag. And I mean, look, I've seen some kick-ass 8-man tags. Generally not in AEW, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's my point, right? Like, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we talk about booking and how some people are not being booked properly. And FTR is a perfect example of it could be a single person or a tag team of just individuals who are not being booked properly by AEW. Everywhere, like outside AEW, excluding the other company, they're being booked well. But why can't you be booked inside your own company well?
Well, I mean, outside of it, they're just told, here's a tag team, go kick some ass.
Go kick some butt, yeah.
Yeah. Like, look what they did with the Briscoes and like ROH. So they put all the good FTR matches in Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense right now.
I don't get it. I just don't understand. Yeah.
You've got one of the greatest tag teams in the world, and they're finally going to be wrestling in an AEW ring. And you're going to put them in an 8-man where their main opponents will be like the Gun Brothers. Now, I would love to see them in a one-on-one fight with Swerve in Our Glory again.
Yeah, agreed.
That would be great. The Acclaimed also made some offhanded comments about them during their did you watch the Road to Boston?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Acclaimed make some comments about FTR in that, right? And about how they're just whining about being number one contenders kind of thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, Swerve and Keith were awesome in that. You should go watch it just for their bits of it.
I will.
Yeah, because Keith Lee's like, I don't even know why we're doing this.
Yeah. So you start agreeing with Swerve, Keith. Like he's been talking sense. Like
he kind of was, because he went on about disrespected and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty funny. But they're by far to me way more entertaining too than the Acclaimed, because their comedy feels natural.
Yep.
Whereas the Acclaims feels forced and contrived, like DX.
Yeah. So, well, they're DX 2.0.
Well, they really are.
If they were fun, and like see how MJF is on the mic, you see how the Elite are fun.
Mhm.
If they were like the Elite, I wouldn't have an issue, but their segments go on way too long
Yeah, and I
and nothing
mean,
happens.
exactly. Even when Chris Jericho does his sports entertainment stuff, it still comes across better than this. But anyway,
Yes,
we are digressing all over
we
the
are
map.
digressing.
So
Yes,
yes,
yes, we are digressing.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk about them during their match tonight
Yeah,
too.
exactly,
So
exactly.
anyway, next up we have Sky Blue taking on Jamie Hayter.
So squash match. Is that what I'm getting?
I don't
Squash
think it's going to
match.
be a squash match. I think Sky Blue is not going to win, but it's not going to be a squash because she's been really being, she's gotten a lot better. And
She
I
has
think it's
no.
going to
She
be a
has.
decent match. I think she's going to get some offense, so it's not going to be a squash, but she's going to lose.
She's gonna definitely lose. I actually I'm calling this a squash match. I think that this match is going to be a showcase for Hayter again, even though they all they've been doing is really showcasing Hayter, and then your champion is fighting on Dark. And where she probably belongs. But you watch Hayter and she is absolutely going to destroy her. I'm telling you right now. It's what's gonna happen is Sky Blue may get in like a few little moves here and there, but Hayter is going to destroy her, and that's gonna be the bill. Like she's gonna be this like powerful like wrestler going in against the underdog. I guess would you consider the champion an underdog? I don't understand. Anyways, but Hayter's gonna crush her. I think she's absolutely gonna crush her.
Okay.
Just building
I
what the
think it's going to
fans
be more
want
competitive.
a win. Fans want to win for Hayter at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
So
So they're going to give her a win over Sky Blue and hope that mollifies fans. Will they keep the belt on Tony Storm?
I don't know because I mean, again another week. We have another week left for this
Yes.
stuff, right?
Yes. So who knows? And yeah, I think there's probably going to, I don't know if there'll be
I'm calling a
shenanigans in
squash.
this
You're
match.
calling a more competitive match. So
I'm
let's see
calling
what
it more
happens.
competitive.
Okay.
Yes, we will absolutely see what happens. I definitely think this will be more competitive.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
then we're gonna get
Hope so.
Dr. Brian. I hope so too. I like Sky Blue. Dr.
Yeah.
Britt Baker, DMD, in a face-to-face with Saraya, this time with Tony Schiavone and not with Renee Paquette.
Good choice, Britt. I'm with you. She's so funny. Um, you know, this is where we're calling it, right? This is where Saraya comes out and says, "You're the last doctor I have to see, and I'm cleared." And she beats up Britt. Is that what we're thinking is going to happen here? She's
And
gonna
then
beat up
we
Britt.
all act shocked like none of us saw this coming whatsoever.
Whoa, we never saw this.
Swerve. Yeah,
But
no.
do they let her attack Britt this week and then next week have Britt attack her to the point where she's hurt? Can she make it to the pay-per-view? Because, would you really let Saraya, if we're right, if Saraya's
Mhm.
fine, which is probably true, and she's gonna wrestle Britt in her first match back, are we gonna really let Saraya lose to Britt?
Well, probably not. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think what you just gave me is a compelling story. So
Mhm.
yeah, I like your idea. I like it a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, Britt destroys her next week, and there's
Next
going to be all
week.
these questions around her,
Yeah.
like, can she even make it to the pay-per-view? Yeah, it's a good story. I mean,
Yeah.
that's compelling. It'll give her the excellent underdog story. And if I
Exactly.
see it like, if they watch Tetsuya Naito and Will Ospreay, two masters of wrestling, I'm just going to let that sit there for a moment. If they watched their match, and look, I'm sure they did. So have a look at that. Have a look what Naito did to Will Ospreay in
Yep.
that match. And do something like that with Britt being Naito and Saraya being Will.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Saraya's no Will Ospreay, but
No.
take the basic storyline that was told in that match, and you've got the makings of what could be a really, really great match between the two of them. There is no shame in imitating the best.
That's true. That's very true. Ask Will Ospreay. He'll tell you.
Oh, points to Krishna. Ooh.
Again, Will Ospreay, my second favorite wrestler of all time. So you know what? That's not a knock on him at all. So just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. He is so effing good, though.
He's so good. He's so fun to watch.
Yep. So yeah, we think this is going to degenerate with Saraya maybe getting a quick beat down on Dr. Britt
Yeah.
Baker. And yeah, so I think we're both agreeing on that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a 2 out of 3 falls match. Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara.
So I looked at the lineup for tonight and I was like, okay, this has to be the match of the night, right? I mean, I don't see anything else like even coming close to it. So we got Sammy versus Danielson a couple weeks back, and we actually gave that match of the night for that week. I don't see how this can be any different. Like, it's gonna be like the two styles matching. Like, it's gonna be interesting because Sammy challenged him, right? So is Danielson just gonna walk in and beat the crap out of him again, or does Sammy, or are we thinking that the JES get involved or what? I don't know. But all I know is this is gonna be the match of the night.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look at the card.
Yeah.
There's nothing else on this card that's going to be match of the night.
No.
It's going to be this match. These are two of the best wrestlers in the company. People can hate on Sammy all they want. The guy's awesome.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and my homework for you between when we get off the air here and Dynamite is for you to watch The Road to Boston,
Road
because
to.
there's also a good interview with Sammy Guevara in it.
Okay.
And he's talking about how, no one thought he'd even be able to do anything against Danielson the first time, but he took him to the limit in the last match.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
shows him like how upset he is that he actually lost that match. He's like, you beat me once. And he goes, who do you think has the advantage in a 2 out of 3? So,
Okay.
he's clearly, talking about how he, used to work in a sub shop, which of course, did you see Will Ospreay's reply to him?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
What was the favorite sandwich you used to make?
The foot long. Oh no.
Yep. Yeah, he just made a comment about him making sandwiches. It was pretty great. But oh Will, you're the best. So anyway, I have digressed into Will Ospreay territory again. Sorry, I may be totally enamored with him this week due to his amazing match with Tetsuya Naito last weekend. So anyway, yeah, no, Sammy and Danielson, this is going to be insane. This is the match I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
This is the match I can't wait to see. They may even open the show with this match. Wouldn't surprise me because they'll need time for it.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be very interesting, and I hope they surprise us with something. I am actually going to go out on a limb and say Sammy wins this match.
Ooh, I was thinking that, and I was like, that's why I said, like, does anyone get involved? Because I feel that Danielson won already in a decisive manner, right?
Yep.
Does Sammy win this one? And because again, that these guys like Danielson, especially, he's not above putting these guys over. He's done it with probably everyone he's wrestled so far. So I'm very interested on what happens here.
Here's why Sammy wins, because now that 4-way match for that title becomes even more intriguing. And who couldn't beat Danielson clean? Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
What if Sammy beats Danielson clean?
Oh wow. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So that creates a really interesting tension between Jericho and Guevara.
Okay.
So this is what I hope happens.
Okay.
Because I think it could tell a very, very interesting story. But we will find out. Definitely our match of the night, though, on both counts. I can't see how it's going to be anything other than this match.
Yeah. Same.
Well, I mean, maybe the next match, if they really pull something off that's absolutely stupendously incredible, the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament first round match between Eddie Kingston and Ethan Page.
Have they announced every single person in this?
They have.
Okay,
so do you want to hear who's in it?
Yeah, please
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so on the left side of the bracket, we have Eddie Kingston taking on Ethan Page today. And then this coming Friday, we've got the remaining 3 matches in the first round. So I guess Rampage is just all World Title Eliminator Tournament all the time. We have Bandito taking on Roosh.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I know, right?
That's going to be a good match.
I'm like, holy crap. And then we have Lance Archer taking on Ricky Starks.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that's still going to be a really good match. Brian Cage and Dante Martin.
Ooh. Oh my goodness, bro!
That's your Rampage
is better than Dynamite.
I know. I'm like, these 3 matches alone. I'm like, holy crap, these are awesome. Why are we getting Eddie Kingston and all ego Ethan Page?
Yeah,
I want
card. Why would you put any?
I want Roosh and Bandito.
Easily. I would have chosen them as matches. But anyways,
really over Guevara and Danielson.
They do my type of wrestling, right?
So, oh, that's true. They do Krishna flippy floppy stuff.
Flippity floppity wrestling.
The lucha things.
The lucha things, yeah.
Yes.
This match, I don't know about this match, and I'm not trying to be like, not trying to be vague or anything here. It's kind of like, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of Eddie Kingston's wrestling. I love him on the mic. If Eddie Kingston ever wants to be just a manager of people and talk, please just do it. You're so good. Ethan Page, he still has to show me stuff. Like I mean, he's been okay. I've seen his matches. They've been like the match against Cassie. They kind of played him as the big strong guy, right? But
Mhm.
I'm like, I know he's better than this, right? I know he's better than that. He's just not the big strong guy. He can go. So I think I'm like, okay, I'm hoping for a good match, but I don't know. Like I like this is one of the ones where I'm like, okay, this could be really good. This could be really bad. And I'm gonna, you know what? Because it's these two guys and I like them, I'm gonna go with this is gonna be a good match. But it's not gonna challenge anything on the card tonight. So
I think it could challenge the 8-man tag.
oh, the eight
I,
man.
I, th- I think it could also challenge depending on how it goes. No, that's right. There's only the three or
That's
four
it.
matches, aren't
Four
there?
matches.
Yeah. Oh,
Four. That's
wow.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, this is probably. I don't know if it'll be as good as Sky Blue and Jamie Hayter.
Maybe yeah, maybe
But
not.
here's the thing: you got to
Hmm.
watch that Road to Boston. They show a bunch of
Okay.
footage from the independent scene between these two
Hmm.
fighting.
Okay. I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
And both of them, of course, covered in blood,
Of
and
course.
Eddie Kingston like with a chain wrapped around Ethan Page's face, choking him down and stuff. It was just, it
Hmm.
was they clearly had a hardcore match in something called Something Intense. It was AIW. I can't remember what the A stood for. I'd never heard of them before I saw
Hmm.
this thing, but it's Something Intense Wrestling, and I'm sure it's a hardcore federation.
Okay.
They
Okay.
seem like it looks like a small indie. Might be fun to check out. It's but yeah, they've clearly had matches before and they were talking about their history in this, which again, why is the history only being mentioned in the
On
Road to
thing.
Boston
Yeah.
segment? Like, why does AEW hate history so much? Why? I mean, they have it, but they don't know how to tell it.
Yeah, you know the weird part is no with AEW and WWE. Like one thing I complained about WWE was this the recaps. There were so many recaps, but then I'm starting to realize why they did it to remind you and give you some story and stuff like that. AEW just a little bit. We're just asking for a little bit, like nothing crazy. Just saying, hey, you know, tell us a little bit about these guys. Like maybe last week because you know that this was gonna happen. You knew this match was gonna happen give us that little promo before it. Why not, right? But I
Mhm.
don't know. It's stuff they have to work in. And I mean, if I was Tony Khan, right? I would do the booking differently. So for example, but then again, I'm very biased here. If I
Mhm.
was Tony Khan, after the 8-man tag match, I would have the Bucks come out and be like, you've been put on notice, right? And challenge whomever at the pay-per-view. That's what I would do,
Yep.
right? Because they're the best.
Mhm.
And I would because you announced the bracket, I'm like, that's why I asked the question. Did they announce all the people in the brackets? I
Mhm.
would have been like, they should have had a mystery person there, and that mystery person should have been Kenny Omega.
Right, but instead they went with all mid-carders.
I know, I know. But you know what? Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe these
Yeah.
guys do need to some television time and stuff
Yep.
like that. So I'm okay with that.
Who's winning the tournament?
I would love to actually to see Ricky Starks win that tournament, to be honest with you, right? Because it's a champ, whoever wins faces off for the championship belt, right?
Right.
So who would I have win this tournament here? I would
Rouge.
want Ricky Starks to win it. Can you run down the list one more time?
Okay. We have on the left side. So let's break it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Eddie Kingston, Ethan Page, Bandito, Roosh. Who's
Mhm.
winning tonight? So you think Ethan Page is beating Eddie Kingston?
I think Ethan Page is beating Eddie
I
Kingston.
agree with you
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
Bandito and Roosh, who's winning?
I'm thinking Roosh is winning this.
I also think Roosh will win that,
Mhm.
which sets up Ethan Page versus Roosh, which is a little bit odd because now we've got heel versus heel.
So
Maybe
maybe
Bandito
Bandito
will be,
wins. So
yeah, I
maybe
think
maybe
Bandito, because
Bandito.
it'll be his debut as an official member of the AEW roster, right?
Yes, yes.
So then you're going to get Ethan Page versus Bandito, and who wins that match?
I'm thinking Ethan Page is going to go through like far. So I think
Okay.
Page is going to win that match as
Yeah,
well.
I would also agree with you. I
Yeah.
suspect he'll be in the final. Who do I want in the final? Either Bandito or Roosh. Who am I going to
Same.
get? Ethan
Ethan
Page.
Page. Yeah.
Um, okay, so then we have Lance Archer and Ricky Starks. Who's winning?
Ricky Starks.
Yep, I agree. Dante Martin and Brian Cage.
Brian Cage.
Again, I agree with you. So we're gonna get Brian
Oh,
Cage
a
and Ricky
rematch of
Starks.
the FTW championship, eh? Wow.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, who's winning?
I'm gonna say because Ethan Page is winning, I'm gonna say Ricky Starks is going
Yep,
through.
I would agree as well. We're gonna get Ricky Starks versus Ethan Page.
Who do I want to win? I obviously want Ricky Starks to win. right? I mean, I think Ricky Starks needs to be pushed.
Yep.
Minus his little comment on Friday night when he came out and was like, this house is crumbling. You guys want to be the pillars. I'm like, what? Like, that was a stupid comment to make. Anyways, but like, yeah, I want Ricky Starks to win because I want him to challenge for the belt. But then if MJF has the belt, Ricky Starks versus MJF, so is Ricky Starks full babyface at this point?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I guess so. Okay. That's not a bad matchup
But I
at
mean,
all.
MJF is almost full babyface
I
these
know,
days
I
too.
know.
So I honestly think Ethan Page is coming out. So yeah, it's going to be Ethan Page.
But then that's an obvious one. We know who's not going to win that belt. Ethan Page.
Yeah,
Right?
Ricky Starks ain't winning it either.
That's fair. But
is there a single person in this tournament they're sticking the AEW World Championship on?
No.
No,
so
there
those
isn't.
are the things. So why have this champion? Why have this eliminator?
And
tournament?
therein lies the question: why are we having this tournament?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that we get to see some of these matches, but did you need an eliminator tournament to have these matches?
Or say that it's for Wardlow's belt or something like that. Which then I'd be like, oh my god, Wardlow's gonna lose his belt, right?
Well, right, because I'm like, yeah, one of these guys is gonna beat him, right? So,
but like, yeah, don't put it for the world championship, and that's my problem there. I was like,
yep.
I don't. Yeah.
Did you watch those highlights I sent you from the PWG show on the weekend?
Yes, I did. I did.
With Bandito and the other 3 luchadors that Dave Meltzer called would have been the match of the year, except for the last few minutes of the match.
Yeah.
Or a match of the year candidate, rather. Sorry, I didn't mean to put words in Uncle Dave's mouth there. But, yep. Yeah, that stuff looked insane. I'm like, this is really a Krishna flippity floppity.
That was 100% my style of wrestling, and that's why, like, when you put these ex luchadors or luchadors type wrestlers in the ring, like, I love them. Like look at Bandito. Yeah, he's your normal kind of luchador style wrestler. But look at Roosh. He's more of like a hard hitting, like, knock you off your feet, like, beat you down wrestler. But I love him. He's so fast.
Yep.
Right. So I love these guys, and then you put them up against these other guys. Like, okay, come on. I mean, I like Ethan Page. I like him, and I really wish I liked him more. But he's not on the same level as these guys.
No, he's not. Yeah, give me a Bandito in any day over. Yeah. Ethan Page is good. Don't get me wrong, but he's at that level of he'll put on a good match that could entertain me. Yes. He hasn't gone past that level yet.
No, his matches don't excite you in any way. It's just like, oh, that was good.
Yeah, good wrestling, good show, good show. You're a good hand, Ethan Page.
Yeah,
what a terrible insult. But yeah, and I mean, yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think Ethan Page will be winning this whole tournament.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Fair enough. That makes sense. And then MJF would have to be full. Not really. He doesn't have to be full babyface. He could just be himself, I guess.
And don't forget, the title shot will be at Winter is Coming, not at a pay-per-view.
Oh, so then, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Like, I say who cares, but no, Winter's Coming is where. Didn't Kenny win his belt at Winter's Coming?
Maybe.
Right? So I mean, yeah, they've had stuff, but there's no way if MJF wins it in November, he's losing the belt the month after. There's no way that's happening.
There's a little bit piece of me that wants Dante Martin to win this tournament.
Yeah, because that's we love Dante Martin.
Could you imagine a Dante Martin Bandito final?
Oh my goodness,
know, right?
That would be perfect. Like, honestly, Dante Martin, he needs a mouthpiece, because like he's so, you can tell how fresh he is, and he's just not the greatest on the mic, but in the ring. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Eddie Kingston. I was like, Eddie Kingston would be great with this guy, right? Just like how
he wouldn't understand his wrestling style at all. He'd just be like, just go out there and do whatever that is you're doing.
Do that stuff you do out there, kid. You got this. You got this, right? So yeah, I would love that. Actually, hey, unfortunately with Darius always injuring himself, right? And now with Santana out of the company, I mean, hey, Ortiz is there, right? I'm not saying they have to be tag teams, but maybe a little stable or something like that. But
Ortiz and Dante Martin would make a really good tag team.
Yeah.
Because you've got that kind of grittier, hard hitting guy along with like the super high flyer.
Yep.
They could be and with Eddie Kingston in their corner. Hey, Tony, you listening?
Book
Book it.
this.
Book this. This is what we want in AW. I want the Dante Martin Ortiz tag
Ooh,
team.
tag team.
Yep.
Tag team.
Yep. There we go. And I want them to fight the Bucks, and I want them to fight FTR.
I know. I just, I want. So Bill, seeing how we've already gone through the matches tonight.
Yep.
What are your predictions on any returns tonight?
Oh man, you're actually going to put me on the spot with that
I
after
put you on
my
the
terrible
spot.
track record. I'm going to say we're going to get another video segment about the Elite,
Same.
and we're going to get another video segment about the House of Black, but that's all we're getting.
But then if you're a booker, and this is us fantasy booking again, everyone.
Of course.
Would you have them both return at the pay-per-view, or would you not have one return before the other?
I would have had them return 2 weeks ago because hey, let's have some like guys on our show that build all this excitement and say, hey, did you hear the Young Bucks trademarked the Wayward Sons?
Ooh, okay, but here's it. Again, we're booking here. We're now Tony Khans. Okay, we're Tony Khans. Would you not, if you are selling pay-per-views next week, would you not want ample time to say, hey, the Elite are going to be there. Hey, the House of Black are going to be there, right? Would you not want to start selling these matches?
Yeah, why is Death Triangle not on the show tonight at all?
That's my point.
Yeah.
If they were there, I'd be like, okay, they're coming back tonight.
Yeah.
They're coming back tonight.
But they're not on the show
no.
at all.
No.
Why? Like, it makes no sense to me at all. If you're trying to build up the Elite and Death Triangle for the pay-per-view, why are neither one of them actually here tonight?
Yeah, and you basically like, and the whole thing is that I get it. The first week, it's like no one referenced Elite, but they get that video played. The second week, they played another video, and then no one referenced them. But then the AEW official website lists, did Death Triangle delete the Elite? So
Yeah,
why would you not just reference it when you came back from commercial?
Yeah.
Like even acting. Oh, what was that? That was kind of like nothing.
Yep. I know. So do I think they're coming tonight? No.
I'm with you.
There's nothing on
the
the show that indicates any of them are coming. There's not going to be House of Black. There's not going to be the Elite. We're just going to get a really good match between Bryan Danielson and Sammy Guevara. And then we're going to wait for Rampage.
Which where all the good matches are.
Where all the good matches are.
Wow. It's been a while since Rampage like dominated Dynamite.
I know. I looked at that lineup. I'm like, all three of those
gonna be
this
really
Friday?
Good Rampage.
That's awesome. Bandito and Rouge. That better be the main event. Jeez.
Yeah. But it's not. It's gonna be Starks is gonna be main eventing.
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna be Starks.
That's like the worst of the three of those matches.
Well, Starks and Cage, Bandito, and no, not Starks and Cage. Starks and
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, Bandito, and
Rouge,
and then it was the other person.
Dante Martin and Brian Cage.
Yeah. Okay. So then, that's so weird. Okay. I would put Bandito and Rouge last, but they're not going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Bandito and Rouge didn't go on first.
Well, that's okay. It would likely mean that if I had less time, at least I caught that match.
Catch that match, yeah.
Yeah, although New Japan's on hiatus right now for 2 weeks, so
okay.
So I can catch up on a lot of other stuff now.
A
lot of Stardom and DDT and stuff to watch. So anyway, well, that's what we think is going to happen on the show, and a whole bunch of fantasy booking beyond the show, and some man, do we ever wish this was on the show, that kind of stuff. But that's going to be Dynamite tonight. So what do you say we go watch it and find out if in fact the Great One shows up?
Let's do this.
Okay. And that was Dynamite, which came to us tonight from Boston, Massachusetts, from the Agnes Arena. I don't know what an Agnes is. Is it a person? Is it a thing? I don't know. These days, you don't know if arenas are named after companies or not. But I digress. We had Excalibur, Taz, and Tony on commentary, and we start off the night with the Gun Boys and Swerve in Our Glory taking on the Acclaimed and FTR. And here is my summary of the Acclaimed on the mic. Krishna, if you'd like to elaborate, please do. But this is basically what they said. You're going to lose. Brady sucks. Kyrie Irving had to say sorry.
How dare they say Brady sucks?
Swerve and Keith are snakes.
7-time champion, people. Let's get that straight. Continue.
Yep. See, Are you telling me right now that you didn't love the Acclaimed?
Didn't like that line. I did not like that line.
That's right, people. Krishna is a Tom Brady simp.
This is true.
So Billy runs down and attacks Swerve before there's any scissoring. That's right. He
Yep.
did that.
Yep, he
So
did.
there were a lot of quick ins and outs to start the match off. At one point, there's all four of the faces on the turnbuckle doing turnbuckle punches at the same time to their opponents. Morrissey interfered at one point to give the Guns and Swerve the advantage until Dax gets the hot tag to Bowens. Bowens had a good run until the Guns hit him with a big rig, which gets broken up by Caster. That's right, the Guns hit the big rig.
Mm-hmm.
All eight of them brawl in the ring until Keith Lee takes out the Acclaimed, and then Swerve does this amazing tornillo to the floor, downing everybody. Dax with an apron suplex to one of the Guns to the outside on top of everybody. He locks the sharpshooter on Austin. This is when the end comes. Locks the sharpshooter on Austin, but Colton breaks it up. Caster with the arrival then to, Bowens with the arrival to Austin. Caster follows it up with a mic drop. Big rig to Colton when he runs in, and Austin is pinned for the 3. What did you think of the match?
The match was okay. I mean, it was it was a fun tag team match. It wasn't anything great. I mean, nothing like we've seen in the past between any of these teams, to be completely honest with you. Like, I think every team did their bit. I did watch the Road 2 before, and it was funny when Anthony Bowens, when they were like, there's these 4 guys, and then Bowens was like, actually, I think it's 6 guys. Seeing how FDR keeps coming after us for a shot too, right? That was kind of funny. But like, what is Keith Lee's role in this? You know what I mean? He just doesn't fit with like Swerve and all these other things, because like it was fun to watch Swerve and the Guns do their thing, and Swerve's awesome, man. He's so good. But Keith Lee's like, oh no, I'm a good guy. I can't do this. At one point, he was just standing outside the ring for a very extended period of time, watching everyone else fight inside. And I'm like, but aren't you part of this match? Should you not be at least on the turnbuckle? Not agreeing with the run-ins? I was a little bothered by that. I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But again, as I said, I do love Swerve in Our Glory. But hey, if Swerve strictly needs to go solo, I'm okay with that as well. I am okay with that.
Yeah, Swerve's great. Swerve's amazing. I like Keith Lee's new gimmick as Pondering Philosopher. It's pretty great. I'm assuming that's what the gimmick was. I'm going to go with that.
I don't know.
Keith the Pondering Philosopher with Swerve the Cheater. So I'm good with that. The rest of this match,
it was
whatever.
It was like okay.
Yeah, it wasn't even it wasn't as good as the worst match, except maybe the 28-second what the hell's the guy's name? Hikuleo match. Yeah, the 28-second Hikuleo match on Battle Autumn. This wasn't as good as any other match on that night, but I mean, this is Dynamite and it's their opening match, and it just felt like a pretty nothing 8-man tag. Like when your high spots are corner punches, and then
I didn't progress the story in any way.
Big rig. Yeah, there was nothing here. It's like, oh, all these guys want the belt. That's your story. Okay, have fun. It didn't progress anything with Swerve in Our Glory. It didn't progress anything with any team in the ring. Morrissey didn't do anything except interfere once to cause something, and it was just like this breakdown mess at the end that ends up with big rigs and mic drops, and yay, the faces all won. Okay, and that was that match.
That was it.
Yeah. Anyway, my audio was terrible at that point, but then they suddenly fixed it for the MJF promo, and it stayed good for the rest of the night. It's like they started this promo, or like this segment. It was like a video segment with MJF. They started it, and then they restarted it with good audio. At least on my feed, that's what happened. So MJF is on some show. Did you catch the name of the show? Because I totally missed it because of the audio stuff.
And he said it was like the top sports podcasts or something like that.
Okay. So MJF was on a really big podcast.
Yeah.
And he notes that this is the most important match of his year. Let me start that over like the audio. This was the most important match of his career. He shouldn't be traveling even right now. But it's also the most important match in our sport. It's the match bringing in a new generation. Generational talents like Sammartino, Flair, Hogan, Rock, Austin. The only person in his way of being one of those guys is Moxley. He doesn't like Moxley. He's a low-life scum piece of shit with no class. He says, you weren't born to be a champion. You were born with 2 left feet and not a single athletic bone in your body. but you worked hard over and over until you did the impossible. You became the best professional wrestler on earth. But you're going to lose that handle because I'm the guy who can do it all and wave the flag of AEW, the flag of professional wrestling, bring it back where it belongs to something everyone is talking about. Everyone knows the throne is there for the taking, and I'm going to take it. Ever since I came to AEW, the spotlight has been on something else. He gives this long list, including a neck tattoo all the way to Chris Jericho. Now he's grabbing the spotlight. He doesn't need a ring to knock him out. At Full Gear, meaning his diamond ring, not a wrestling ring. At Full Gear, the devil gets his due.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
no. This promo was great. Again, it's not MGF trying to say I'm a face or anything like. He says that he's the devil. Like he's coming after it. He doesn't like. He's so good. He doesn't need to cheat to win, but he's still gonna be a bad guy. He doesn't care about that. A few things happened tonight in regards to this promo, and we'll discuss when we get to them. But yeah, no, this was a great again, another great segment. Like this guy, if he's just doing this off the top of his head, wow, like he's really like the god on the mic. Holy crap, is he good? Because the emotion, everything that he's conveying, you feel it, right? But no, I thought this was a really, really good promo.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't think I
Yeah.
liked it as much as you did, but no, I thought it was good. I mean, maybe I've just heard a lot of MJF promos.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of like, okay. What this promo did, though, was made me go, I kind of want to cheer for Moxley because it was just a little bit like the other ones were all like, I'm coming up. I've really got to fight against the odds and that kind of. This wasn't a fight against the odds promo at all, right?
Well, no, but
And that's what I mean, right? His
yeah,
previous promos were very much I had to fight from the bottom. I'm here because people thought I couldn't do it. People thought I couldn't make it. I'm the little guy in it. This was not that. This wasn't
no,
that at all. This was I'm so goddamn good. I'm
good.
an ego. I'm generational. I'm the best ever. My name should be mentioned along with Flair and
Yeah.
Sammartino and Hogan and The Rock and Austin. That's me. I'm one of those guys, right? And I'm like, F you, MJF. Like now you've crossed a line with me. And I think the reason why I didn't like this as much because I'm like, you're too full of yourself. John Mox is going to beat your ass into the ground. And then when Mox said, and we'll get to Mox's promo later, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
Mox's promo, I was like, that's right, Mox.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, and thing is, Mox's promo, like I think AEW is having an issue with trying to figure out where they want to send MJF. Like, is he going to be the ultimate bad guy? Is he going to be the ultimate good guy? And they haven't decided what they're going to do with him, right?
I
Because it
don't think
has
they
been
need to
back and
decide.
forth.
Let's just let him play.
Yeah, I guess, but like there's a lot of so we can move on from this one, but there are a few more things happen tonight in regards to MJF, and yeah, when we get to it, it's a little confusing, but let's continue.
Right. And speaking of more stuff with MJF, we have
Mhm.
Stokely,
Yeah.
who's out walking at night in some streets. Looks like it's Boston. I'm not sure. Um, his best friend betrayed him, but he says, I don't need him. I can do it by myself. So win, lose, or draw at Full Gear. I'll see you in hell, Max.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. The whole something else to add to the whole MJF Moxley feud.
Mm-hmm.
What part is Stokely gonna play in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those you want to see a clean match, but I'm also afraid that will they do the thing where they screw MJF out of this or something like that and Moxley wins? I don't know, right? So it's they've thrown in this now Stokely Hathaway kind of like I guess curveball into the MJF and Moxley storylines that I don't know if it's needed, right? Not now at least. You know what I mean? Not now. Um unless it goes down at Full Gear and MJF wins but then gets attacked. I don't know where they're going with this, to be honest with you. That's why I said I'm a little confused because it's not a clear path. I'm just
Yeah.
I'll be optimistic about it. I'll trust AEW with this one. They'll handle
Mm-hmm.
it well, but I just don't know what they're doing with this.
Right. Right. Um, well, does Mox win at Full Gear? See, I still have a feeling Mox is going to win at Full Gear.
Wow.
I
Okay,
still
okay,
don't think
okay,
MJF's going to win. And you're right,
okay.
they've kind of given a bit of an out here, but I mean, MJF's not the kind of guy that needs an out too. He could
No,
lose to Moxley and that would be okay. Um, This is the most interesting I've found Stokely in his entire career in AEW
Mm.
so far. I'm like, interesting, because now he's just like, he's gonna do something, and we don't know what, and
Yeah,
we don't know
something's
when.
happening, and I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. There's a little bit of mystery in this story, and I like that. And I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but we shall see. So then we get Ethan Page taking on Eddie Kingston, and the announcers note that their rivalry goes back over a decade, and they talk about the various matches they've had together over time. Um, Page hits Kingston with a forearm from the second turnbuckle, and then an apron elbow to the floor. Does a suplex on the floor a little while later, and then they exchange some shots back in the ring from their knees as they both get up. More shots, adding in an Eddie DDT for two, and then you see Eddie selling his back a lot in this match. Eddie reverses a short arm into an exploder suplex, followed by the stretch plum. But Stokely distracts the ref as Page is tapping frantically in the stretch plum. Ortiz chases off Stokely, but this Page is now out of the stretch plum, hits a roundhouse kick, dropping Eddie. Eddie catches Page on the turnbuckle, but Page reverses it into an avalanche. Ego's edge for the 3, and he advances in the tournament.
Yeah, we call this. This match was okay. I mean, I did like the Avalanche, Razor's Edge or Ego's Edge, you want to
Ego's
call it.
edge, yes.
But yeah, it was good. It scared me a little bit when he was attempting to do it because I didn't know if he was able to carry Kingston's weight on him. Right at one point, he was like going. I was like, no, don't do
Wait.
this.
Are you
Don't.
making weight jokes at Eddie
I'm not
Kingston?
making weight jokes. I just didn't know if Ethan Page was able to support
He'll
that
kick your
weight. Right?
ass.
He could. He definitely could. But I don't think this match was just okay. It was just okay.
Yeah, it was just okay.
Yeah.
So far I've had 2 just okay matches and an MJF promo where I'm like, dude, your ego. Where'd that come from? Holy crap, I need some sunglasses. So yeah, it was okay.
It was
It
just
it,
okay. Yeah.
it was a distraction finish again. Like, it was
Yeah.
just like tap, ref distraction. Okay, that's fine. Renee's with the Dark Order and Roosh. And Roosh asked for the Dark Order to be present, and Jose the assistant tells Ten that Ten will get the first title shot when Roosh beats John Moxley, and the rest of the clowns, or MJF, and the rest of the clowns will never get one. And Roosh says to Ten, think about this offer, because Roosh doesn't give second offers. And John says, back off, Roosh bag.
Yeah, this is just dumb. It's nothing. It did nothing. We know Roosh is not winning this belt, so I'm like, why are they even doing this? Right? I guess so they can remind you that this is still a storyline that's going on, I guess.
Why is this a
I
storyline?
don't
Why
know.
do they want, of all the guys in the Dark Order they're trying to recruit, Roosh and the completely vanished Andrade El
Yeah,
Idolo,
yeah.
Roosh and Jose the assistant. That is apparently all. They're just the 2 of them now. Are trying to recruit 10. That's it. I'll
Yeah,
bet
because
Roosh really regrets beating up his brother not too long ago.
right, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, yeah, the plans were probably squashed with the Andrade storyline, where it was expected that Ten was going to lose that match, lose his mask, because they're AEW is looking to give Ten a bit of a push, right? I don't know why, but AEW wants to give Ten a push because clearly they don't have enough big guys already. They want another one. But an unmasking with Preston Vance, I know Preston Vance, just joining another stable and stuff like that. But hey, you know what? Again, I didn't care for this. I was like, whatever. I guess you see the Dark Order, but again, the Dark Order was there. Where was Stu Grayson?
Well, apparently he's not. If Meltzer was to be believed this week and he usually is to be believed. Stu Grayson just showed up backstage that night, and they put him on camera. He's not.
Oh,
He was working some indies and stuff over the
okay,
weekend.
okay.
And in
Well,
fact, he and Evil Uno had a match together as a tag team somewhere this weekend. So
okay, so there you go. So maybe he hasn't been re-signed yet. But hey, I guess this is just to show Dark Order because did they even set up a match or anything for Rampage? No, right? There's no
no,
they don't have a
no,
match.
because we know who Roosh is fighting at
Yes,
Rampage.
exactly,
Not
exactly.
anyone in this segment.
Yeah, this didn't make any sense. Anyways, we can move on from this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why AEW thinks they need 2 guys with 10 gimmicks. Um, anyway. And now we get Ari Daivari in the ring. He will offer the services of his butler to Wardlow in exchange for the TNT Championship. This is apparently the open challenge for the TNT Championship that none of us knew was happening on the
Yeah,
show
no one
tonight.
know.
And we get Wardlow versus Ari Daivari. And Wardlow kills the butler, squashes Daivari with 4 power bombs, grabs a mic, calls out Hobbs. So that was the match.
Yeah, it was a squash match. I
Okay.
mean, not much to say about it.
No. So Hobbs answers the call on the mic. Wardlow says, "Finally, I have a suitable opponent for my title. You ain't getting this title. It will always be mine. I'm going to take every title in this company." Now, standing behind Wardlow at this point was Samoa Joe holding on to the ROH title. And he takes exception to his comment that he's taking every title in the company, and he smashes Wardlow in the back of the head with the ROH title, chokes him out to the ground, says something to him, and then Hobbs tells Joe that he will kick Joe's ass too, that this doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it's about time they broke up Warjo. I like this. I actually really like this because this whole Warjo thing was just thrown together and the fans liked it. But like even last week when Wardlow pushed Samoa Joe out of the way, right? You could tell something was already up. So I was like, wow, they really just pulled the trigger on this one quick. And this, yeah, you know what? If there is going to be a match at the pay-per-view, Hobbs versus Wardlow, why not throw Joe in there as well, right? I mean, that would make it a better match. So I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I look, you know me. I like Samoa Joe.
Yep.
This is the Samoa Joe I like. The one that's like, "Oh yeah, take this," and
Yep.
destroys the man. That was great. Anyone who destroys Wardlow like that is my friend. Um, yeah, I mean, this was good. It's about time. I think finally someone in the back went, "Wait a minute. Why do I have the 2 people, one with the ROH TV title, one with the TNT title? Why are they a tag
Yeah.
team?" Right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe someone finally figured this out and went, "We have 2 belts. We should really be having them defend those belts," right? Like,
Yep.
anyway, yeah. So this to me was a good course correction that was very necessary. I'm excited to see Hobbs in a match. If you're gonna put 3 big guys in a ring and have a match, right? I mean, if Braun Strowman and Omos aren't available, of course, then I mean these would be 3 of the guys you might want to put in that match because all 3 of them are actually capable of having a good match.
And we'll get to
So,
Jeff Jarrett's comments afterwards, which was I laughed out loud when we did Jeff Jarrett, but we'll get there
yep.
soon.
I may have missed a small bit of that because I think at that point something happened and I dropped something or something like that. So if I miss it, please let me know and you may
I will.
correct me. So we have Renee now in the back with Jade Cargill, who says, "You're facing Nyla at Full Gear now." And Jade says, "I'm gonna handle her ass."
Yeah.
Uh-huh. "I'm sick of her open challenges. I hear she's going to be on Rampage, so I'm going to handle her ass at Rampage." She said twice that she's not just going to beat her up. She is literally going to handle her ass.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of this segment was when they showed the graphic afterwards, and it was TBS champion Jade Cargill, and then had in quotation mark TBS champion Nyla Rose. I was like, what the hell? I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. But
Yep.
before we continue quickly, I was watching the road to Boston, and they showed the actual graphic for the pay-per-view, so November 19th pay-per-view. If you look closely on the left-hand side of that graphic, in very, very small characters, you actually see the House of Black there. So I just thought that was kind of cool to point out the House
Oh
of Black were
yeah.
actually on the poster. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, the House of
Interesting.
Black.
Was there like a hanging clock piece or anything in the
I
poster?
didn't notice, but we'll get to that very shortly.
We shall, we shall. So now we get the face-to-face between Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Saraya. They're in, well, Tony's in the ring. He calls out Dr. Britt Baker first, then Saraya, and Tony says, "Saraya, you have something to tell Britt face to face." And Saraya says, "First, I bet you guys are really wondering what's happening. Am I cleared?" And she says, "Unfortunately, no, I'm not. I wasn't cleared by the doctors at all. I'm sorry, everyone. I can't wrestle." Because of course that's exactly what we knew was going to happen, right?
Yep.
No. What she really said was, "Unfortunately for Britt, I'm 100% cleared." And the announcers act surprised. Saraya's in tears, and we're in total shock because we had no clue she would have been cleared to wrestle. Saraya then just says, AEW is my house. So Britt says, is there anything more fickle than an AEW fan? Because, of course, they were cheering for her when she said
Yeah.
that. So you're cleared. Do you even know how to do this? Why have you been coming
Fair
after me?
question.
Yeah, I know, right? I think I know. I built AEW from the ground up until it became a fortress that wrestlers, no superstars like you wanted to move into. And I'm damn proud of that. The crowd is now chanting DMD because, as she pointed out,
They're
is
fickle.
there anything more fickle than an AEW fan? They ironically change sides again. Yes. Britt then says, but that pride turns into resentment very quickly when you have the audacity to skip in here and calling it your house. Funny, I don't recall you laying a single brick. I know why you're obsessed with me, because I'm everything you wish you could have been. If you think that's not true, remember, you left your house and walked into
Mm-hmm.
mine. Saraya,
Mm-hmm.
I regret to inform you, we don't take walk-ins. Bitch, make an appointment.
I was laughing a lot at this
Yeah,
point.
I was too. Britt was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So Saraya now gets the mic and says, you know, I think it's really cute you put yourself on a pedestal since you got your position handed to you by Tony Khan and then beat a bunch of QT's trainees.
What trainee is a cute? I guess. Who did he? Red Velvet? Wasn't she a QT
I
trainee?
maybe. I mean,
I don't
we'd have
know.
to look that up. I'm
Yeah,
not
I don't
sure.
know. I don't know.
Remind me to do that for our next weekly thing. Let's examine who the AEW roster's women are. Are
Mm-hmm.
they all QT's trainees,
And
or did
they made it.
Saraya just diss the entire
I know.
AEW women's roster? Uh, I've been in. I want to look up all Britt's matches now and go through them. Like,
Mhm.
who has she wrestled? Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty sure she fought Hikaru Shida a few times. I'm pretty sure Hikaru Shida is not one of QT's
He's
trainees.
trees.
Anyway, she goes, I've been in the business for 17 years. You don't know what it takes to be a star. I got hit by a car and wrestled the same day. I handed out resumes to promoters who turned her down for being female. I started revolutions before wrestling was a twinkle in your eye. I've done MSG and the Tokyo Dome. Now, I looked this up after and I couldn't find any Tokyo Dome matches with her. Now, that doesn't mean they don't exist. It
Yeah.
just means maybe
Yeah.
my Google skills weren't up to par. But if it was a big Tokyo Dome match, you think I would have found it. And now I'm in front of an ungrateful bitch. I've been publicly humiliated in front of millions. I battled my drug addiction publicly. I've given my career my neck for the business. You don't have a clue what it takes to make it. But here you go, another opportunity on a silver platter. My comeback story and the biggest match of your career. It's you versus me at Full Gear. So Britt is apparently in shock because she clearly had no idea they were going to have a match at Full Gear. So Britt goes after her, but as we predicted, Saraya lays her out.
Yeah. We knew this was gonna happen. And you know what? Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give credit to both these women because Britt, we know she's always on fire. Like, honestly, seeing Britt walk out, I kind of miss Adam Cole a little bit because I was like, man, I wonder if Adam Cole's doing okay.
Yeah.
And when Saraya, like, yeah, she didn't like she's not as good on the mic as Britt is in delivering a lot of things, but you felt the passion in her voice when she announced her return, right? And
Mhm.
the crowd fed on that. Like the crowd really did see the emotion build up in her. You're right. Like there's a lot of things that we don't know. Like some of the things she was saying, like, yeah, battling her addiction problems
Mhm.
on real TV, getting embarrassed in WWE. Again, not something that we all know happened, right?
Yep.
So I'm glad to see her back. But Britt does raise a lot of good questions. Do you remember how to do this? You've been away for so long.
Mhm.
So long. Like, listen, I have faith, these two. I think that I have faith in Britt. Um, but if that match happens and I do see like a Tony Storm / Britt Baker match and people blame Britt for that, I'll be like, no, 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 no. This is not on Britt. So you know what? I'm hoping that we are going to get a good match at Full Gear. These two will probably maybe better than the Jamie Hayter and versus why do I keep forgetting her
Tony
name?
Storm.
Tony Storm match, right? But overall, I mean, the promo did what it had to do. Exactly what we thought. She's gonna come out. She's 100% good to go. She's gonna beat up Britt, and then next week Britt's gonna jump her. But I mean, you know what? The pop she got, I think, deserved. But I just love the fact Britt AEW fans are so fickle. And
Yep.
see when she said that, all I could remember was when Bryan Danielson would come out and just call everyone fickle, right? So
Hmm.
I'm like, I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah,
Yep.
this segment was good. Like, it was a good way to have it come out like she's good to go. It's building a match. Imagine that, AEW, you're building a match a couple weeks for the
Hmm.
pay-per-view, right? Yeah, no, I liked it. I like this segment.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the
Yeah.
Saraya clearly had real emotion in her
Yeah,
voice.
yeah.
She was very passionate cutting her promo. Britt raised a lot of good points. It was a really good back and forth. They both had really strong showings here. Um, if Saraya is ready to go, this is going to be a really good match. If she has ring rust, well, it might not be as much. But I mean, the one thing that really sparked my interest in women's wrestling back in NXT was watching Emma, who of course is now back in WWE,
Oh my god.
and Saraya, who was Paige at that point, have
Mhm.
their matches in NXT, right?
Mm,
And they fought against Natalia and like all kinds of stuff. And these were
yeah,
really good
matches.
matches because at that point we were still in the era of the diva who were basically fashion models that Lord knows why Vince chose them, and
Yeah, yeah,
they were in the company. So
yeah,
yeah, and it was just they were there for their looks and that was entirely it, and they couldn't wrestle a stitch, most of them.
yeah. Fair enough.
So
No.
yeah, I mean, this was a real change, and
Hmm.
she's the one who really helped bring that in, and she can go. So I really hope she's in wrestling shape because we could be
Hmm.
in for a really good match.
That's why I said it might be
Yep.
able to challenge that
Yep.
women's
100%.
championship.
It absolutely could, because unlike what some fans think, and I would categorize them as fickle, um, Britt Baker was not the problem in the Britt Baker Tony Storm match. So
That is very
anyway,
true.
yep. So we have QT backstage with the factory and the best friends in a segment that happened earlier today. Um, basically this segment ends with Orange Cassidy in a match with Lee Johnson,
Yeah,
who has
yeah.
returned to the
That's
factory
it.
because they're like, this guy was challenged. He goes, okay, that's fine. Got a match.
So stupid.
That
So
was it.
stupid. And I love how Lee Johnson's gonna like, what? We have a match already? Okay, cool, cool.
Orange Cassidy's like, yeah, let's have a match. That's
All right,
fine.
cool.
Whatever. Yep. Then we get Trent doing his best Orange Cassidy. Walks up to Jay Lethal and his crew, and he's like, "What's up, scumbags?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Who are you calling scumbags?" What's up, scumbags? And they're like, Lethal goes, "You want to do something about it?" And he goes, "I'll fight you tonight on Dynamite. See ya." And he
And then the
walks
match
off.
starts.
And the match starts. and so they have a match.
Yeah.
So though as Trent's on his way to the ring, Lethal lays him out from behind, beats him down on the way to the ring. The bell rings because the ref doesn't care about Trent's health. Lethal keeps working on. I never understand that. Like the dude is half dead, and the ref's like, "Yeah, you're fine. Let's go." Lethal keeps working on Trent's leg. There's a knee breaker followed by the dragon screw. Danhausen and Chuck now come down to counter Satnam and Sanjay, but Lethal applies the figure four to Trent on the floor. There's another shin breaker back in the ring, multiple elbows to the knee. I mean, Jay's just wrecking the dude's knee. Wrenches on the knee. Then Lethal gets a little too cocky and he does a slow flare strut down the ring apron to the turnbuckle, goes for the Macho Man elbow, but eats knees. Trent
Mhm.
with a bunch of chops. He follows up with his German sequence. His Tornado DDT, though, is blocked into a figure four attempt, but Trent shoves him into the turnbuckle and allows him to actually land that Tornado DDT for two. Trent then follows up with an avalanche half and half, which was just amazing, followed by a knee strike, and he sets him up for the strong zero. But Sanjay gets on the apron. There's distractions, more distractions, some distractions. There's some distractions, more distractions. Lethal hits the lethal injection for the win.
Yeah. I like this match up until the distractions happen because
Mm-hmm.
Trent and Lethal, they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that. Like, I love how Lethal just is able to attack like a limb, and he keeps attacking, right? He reminds me of like a Bret Hart when he singles out, like especially
Mm-hmm.
the leg, right? Those dragon screws he does to the leg and everything like that. He keeps at it.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed that. And then of course we knew that like this match would have broken down eventually, right? So the match breaks down. Lethal picks up the win. I don't I don't know where this was going, to be honest with you. I guess it was going to the segment that happens after this, but yeah, the match itself before the interference was good. Actually better than the other matches that were on, right?
Oh yeah.
This match was good. And then the interference happened, and you're like, okay, whatever, fine.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's some interesting booking we've been getting, right? Because I
Mhm.
mean, we have, kind of a mess of a 8-man tag, right? I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great, and it just ended with, a bunch of moves. Um,
Yeah.
but then the match after that ends with, there's a tap out, but then there's a distraction, and the distraction allows the guy to get all of his big moves on the other guy, and he wins, right? And now we have this one where once again we have a distraction that causes the bad guy to win the match. And you're right up until that distraction point, this was a really
It
good
was a great
match.
match. Yeah, it
Lethal
was a
is
great match.
incredible. Trent is
Oh,
great.
he's so good.
Like they're two great wrestlers in the ring
Mhm.
together, and they had a great match. I
Yep.
mean, that you're 100%. The way Lethal works over the leg is insane. He just
So
takes him
good.
apart, and everything just looks like it
It
kills,
hurts.
right?
Yep.
Like they're both such good wrestlers. Trent sells like nobody's business. Yeah, it was really good. Um, Unfortunately, we got a really bad finish to it, but that's okay. That's okay. There was some good wrestling up till that point. So they're going up the ramp. You got Lethal, Sanjay, and Satnam at the ramp, and Sanjay gets the mic and he's like, "Look, I promised you guys a huge surprise last week, and we delivered Jeff Jarrett." So Double J himself comes out and he goes, "Why am I in AEW?" And the crowd goes, "We would like to know that too." And then JJ says, "When a friend calls, a friend shows up. We're putting a plan together." It's great. I signed Lethal to his first contract. And he goes on about how great Lethal is. Sanjay Dutt has an IQ of 181. Do I need to say more?
Said
Satnam,
that's so
and then he goes
ridiculous.
on about how big Satnam is. But what he does say is, "This is no make believe monster in red skinny jeans."
That's right. Take that, Strowman. I was like, oh, nice shot.
Yep. Because he's a basketball player. He's from India. We are putting people in body bags. But then the stage manager tries to wind him up, which apparently everyone's stealing Eddie Kingston's gimmick
I
now.
know. I know.
It's like, guys, when Eddie does it, it's hilarious. Okay. When you guys are doing it, not so much. So the producer, the stage manager, whatever, tries to wind him up, pisses him off. He starts yelling at him, and then he tries to wind him up again, yells at him some more, and then he chases him out. And that was the end of this segment.
Yeah, so I didn't get this because I thought, oh my, okay, so this stage manager is trying to wind him up. He's on screen. Clearly, this is like a wrestler from the indies who's gonna get smashed in the head by Jeff Jarrett, right? With the
Hmm.
guitar. But that never happened.
No,
And I was like, what is going on right now?
right.
And though it ended, I was like, they chased him into the audience. I was so confused. I was like, this, yeah, I didn't understand. I get what this is for, to set up the match, right? But it didn't make any sense. It
Yeah.
didn't make any sense at all. So I was like,
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and
Next,
he said, "I'm going to tell you why I'm in AEW," and apparently the reason he's in AEW is just to talk about three other guys,
I guess,
because that's
because
all he did.
his friend asked him to come. That's why.
I guess when a friend calls, a friend shows. I mean, we're
I
putting
guess.
whatever. Anyway, I'm giving this no more thought. We have Renee with Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and she says, "Tensions continue to mount." And Jack says, "The last thing I heard from them is they're done with me. They don't get to decide that. Last week was just the beginning. Full gear? I have a challenge. I'll issue it on Rampage."
Yeah, which it's just gonna. Well, actually, I don't know what the challenge is going to be, so we'll figure that. We'll find that out.
Stop
Um,
taking time away from the Roosh Bandito match.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like to me, it's kind of like, okay, sure, great.
Yep.
This could have even done this next Wednesday if you wanted to. You didn't have to do it this Wednesday, right? Or the
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see. I'm glad that we saw Jungle Boy. I was kind of wondering where he was since the he cost Luchasaurus that match. But yeah, no, I'm always happy to see a Jungle Boy match. So I'm very curious to see what the stipulations are going to be for that
He
match.
didn't cost Luchasaurus that match. Orange Cassidy would have beat him.
That's true. Very true. No, you're right.
Yep.
You're very right.
Yep.
That's true.
See, everyone's going on like that was Luchasaurus's match to lose. I'm sorry, man. One orange punch,
That's true.
Luchasaurus is done.
That's very true.
I mean, the man beat Katsuyori Shibata,
He
okay?
did. He
Yep.
did.
So John Moxley comes out now, and he actually makes it to the ring in a reasonable amount of time. I think that having William Regal with him as he comes out is helping. And he turns to Sir William Regal and he says, "How old was I when we first met? 25, 26? I was young, full of piss and vinegar. I thought I knew it all. I thought I had it all figured out. I ran my mouth. I wanted to be just like you, feared and respected. I wanted to be a top guy. So I tried to pick a fight with you. It did not go well. You tortured and brutalized me. It pissed me off. I found out where I was on the food chain. I knew I had to evolve. So when I got another shot, I made it count. I knocked you out and ripped your ear off with a knee. And then you took me under your wing. And you said, now the real work begins. Now, who does that kid remind you of? It reminds us of young Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Now, I first wrestled him in the summer of 2020. He challenged me and thought he had it all figured out. I bloodied him up. Now, all these months later, he's come back. So, what's going to be different this time? He seems to be having an existential identity crisis. Who is he? He tries to act all rich and professional. His mom buys his clothes for him at J.C. Penney. I loved that line. He talks a big game, but I actually am a multimillionaire professional, so he can't fool me. What's more amusing is he calls himself the devil. Dude, I have seen the devil. I have met the devil. I have looked him in the eyes. I have been in bad places, seen some very bad people do some very bad things. Dude, you are not that at all. Now, we would love to see you reach your potential. We're teachers. We're not worried about your whole song and dance. When you step in the ring in full gear, just remember everything you've done up until this point is easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great. Like I loved Moxley's promo here because he calls him out for his like just saying, hey, just saying you're the devil doesn't make you the devil, right? And Moxley like bringing again his personal life into it, like he's battled with everything and he's come out of it, and again showing the fact that hey, you have to work for these things, they're just not given to you, right? And he's and I love the fact where he's like, I am a multimillionaire, so I know as a you ain't fooling me kid kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great. It's just again hyping up the match. And you're right. At the end of this, you're kind of like, will John Moxley win this fight against MJF, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like, AEW, you've done your job now because I don't know anymore who's gonna win this match.
Right.
So I thought it was a great promo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's Moxley is phenomenal. This got me going. Yeah, that's right, man. You go kick MJF's ass. That's right. That's right. You show him what it's like to actually face someone like you in the ring. Okay, that's good. Let's do this. See, so I'm hyped for the match. They
Mhm.
did their job.
They did.
Yep. They made it. So now I want to cheer Moxley and boo MJF. So yeah, good job, guys. Good job. Speaking of amazing things, we then get the latest video in the string of Elite videos. And in this one, it starts with some clocks moving and gears. But we see pictures of the Elite and they're all being wound in reverse. So we get like them in AEW and then it goes to them in like New Japan and in the Indies and then as kids. And you just keep seeing them being reversed over and over again. And at the end of it, the AEW logo goes up in that burning flames thingy again. So what did you think of this one?
So this clearly states where the Elite are returning because you notice they had the gears that were shifting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, full gear. Here we go. But like, okay, how are they returning at full gear? There's nothing announced for like trios wise at full gear. Are the trios like is stuff has to happen next week, right? Is our assumption. Like there has to be something next week because you're gonna have to have a match on the card for the trios belt. And so far nothing's been discussed, right? Like where's Pac, where's Penta, where's everybody? So yeah, I love the segment because again I get to see the Elite, but it was a little confusing because we have one more show to go, right? A show that okay, first of all, we didn't have any House of Black on this show.
No.
We got the Elite segment very, very late, and I'm a little worried that they're not paying attention to like the storylines they have going right now. It's like, guys, for the past 2 weeks, you've had these cool segments, but you don't even like acknowledge it at all. And then suddenly now the elite are kind of announcing they're going to be at Full Gear. Is that it? They're just going to show up. I'm just so like confused
Yeah.
on what's
But
happening.
but what's with the time reversal?
I don't know.
What
I
does
don't know.
that mean? And like that falls in with Matt's tweet, right? Or Instagram
Mm-hmm.
post.
Mm-hmm.
What is with this stuff? See, that's what's more intriguing to me than anything else. What do they mean by all this rolling back the clock stuff?
So like I don't know if you saw the poster in the front row. The guy's poster that said, if the elite or Mercedes, that's Mercedes Verano, show up on AEW tonight, I will eat a hat. I was like, oh, please elite, please show up. Please show up. I want to see this guy eat a hat.
Yeah.
But like,
Wow.
but like for this, I don't know. I don't know where this is going because I'm like, you're right. They're reversing, and I'm like, what's happening now? Personally, I want to see the elite form back, like the Bullet Club-ish elite fall back, meaning that I want Kenny, the Bucks, I want Bad Hangman in there, right? I want them just be bad and just run roughshod through the entire all elite, right? Like set up that, not NWO, but a better stable than NWO, right? I want them to do that. So I'm very curious what's going to happen now. I'm curious, but I'm just worried about this timing. We have one show left, right? So I'm like, show them, show something. Like I don't know what to say about this. I loved it, but I'm also kind of like, are we just gonna keep doing these promos until the show? Is that what's gonna happen? Like I don't know.
Well,
What are your thoughts?
my thoughts are they just clearly have so many more important plot lines to handle on their show, right? They had to get Jade Cargill in there going off on Nyla Rose. I mean, later on, we've got a bunch of promos for this like eliminator match for the, thing that right darn right well, whoever wins this tournament is not winning the belt. So
Mm-hmm.
they had to do that. I mean, they had to stick 8 people in an acclaimed tag team match, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had to have, and in spite of the fact it was a really good match, Jay Lethal and Trent Beretta, they had to be shoehorned onto the show, and we had to
Yeah.
get Jeff Jarrett out there talking rambling crap at a producer,
Producer.
right? That was way more important than actually getting the House of Black on the show or the Elite.
Or the
People who actually draw numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if
I
they're
don't get
so
it.
concerned, and like I'm not Mr. Business side, I don't give a well, I only give a damn about the business side insofar as my wrestling show stays on television. Okay.
Mhm.
Like that's
Mhm.
how far I care about the business. Keep my shows going. That's all I care about. But and which means occasionally I have to sacrifice things for a Wardlow. Um, but if that's the case, I I don't really understand why you think Jeff Jarrett is more important to
More
have on
important.
your show than the Elite. I don't get why you think Jeff Jarrett is more important to have on your show than Malachi Black.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Yep. Or I don't know, maybe some real TV time for FTR talking about the belts, or oh, I don't know, like anything else. Give me a death triangle match so they're warming up for Full Gear or something so we actually see something happening, right? I mean, why couldn't we have had the death triangle taking on, Jay Lethal and a couple of buddies?
Yeah. Well,
I
I
could have
bet you next
shoehorned
week
Jeff Jarrett out after
yeah,
that, right?
I bet you next week we're probably gonna get something like that. Like that's my only assumption, because then the like how would they do that at Full Gear? Would they just announce that the Death Triangle will be facing a mystery opponent? Like, come on. Like that's the dumbest thing I've heard in my life.
Jay Lethal needs to ditch the people he's with and join in with Swerve and Keith.
Oh yeah, I'd love that. I would
There's your
absolutely love that.
trios.
I would love that.
I know. And then they can face Death Triangle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true.
See, I should be booking AEW. I'd be much better at it. The teams would be so much cooler.
Oh my god,
And
I
we would
know.
never see Jeff Jarrett. I don't hate
That's
Jeff
true.
Jarrett. I don't hate him. But I don't think his role is frontline dude getting tons of
No.
TV time every week. So anyway, the next up we had oh yes, Danielson has a quick promo. He's going to put all of his disrespect on Sammy Guevara's face. What an ironic line. And when he kicks his head in,
Mm-hmm.
irony, irony.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Jamie Hayter versus Skye Blue. And Skye Blue comes out with Tony Storm, which means Skye Blue comes down the ramp into the ring to Tony Storm's
His
music.
music. Yep.
Uh, anyway, early on, we get Hayter bailing from the ring, but and she drills Blue into the rail, but Skye shoves her into the ring post. Skye with a Cazador arm drag and a rising knee strike, but there's a distraction by Britt. Hayter does her Uranagi backbreaker off the distraction, foot to the face in the corner. Britt then chokes Skye on the ropes. Hayter hits a suplex into a pinning slam. Just those, it's an insanely fast move. I love that suplex slam she does. Skye manages a drop kick, a high kick, and a diving crossbody for 2. Skye then with a seated enziguri and gets a code red off, but argues with the ref, letting Hayter back in. They exchange elbows, kicks. Hayter chops her in the corner, sets her up on her shoulders, but Blue reverses it into a Cazadora. But Hayter catches her in the Cazadora, counters it into her lariat finisher for 3.
Yeah, I mean, this match was fine. You know, like I've seen the weird part is I've seen better matches in the women's division. This match was fine. I was wrong. It wasn't a squash match. They actually let them go for a bit. Skye Blue, you're right, is getting better, and I'm saying that because I know how young she is. I know when she started in the business, but you could still see a bit of green in her in some of the moves she was doing. So, ironically, she came out with Tony Storm. But I mean, like, it's these things that are going to help her progress. So I'm not going to say that, it was terrible, botch filled, or no, because it wasn't. There were maybe a few things that were a little bit off. Some things that were you're like, okay, was that a hit or was that a counter? You couldn't really tell, right? But overall, I mean, she wrestled a fine match. She wrestled a fine match, right? We knew who was gonna win. Hayter is getting built up to be again our champion is the underdog here, right? Hayter is the powerhouse. So yeah, I mean, it was fine. That's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah, no, it was decent.
Yeah.
Skye Blue is getting better. I
Mhm.
mean, she's a lot better than she was a year ago.
Yes.
So, you know, she's progressing. Maybe she's one of QT's
Trainees.
trainees or
She
something. I
actually
don't
might
know.
be. She
She might
actually might
be.
be.
I know she might be. Jamie Hayter just looks like a powerhouse, though. I mean, she is
Oh
so
yeah.
good in the ring. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching her whip Tony Storm's ass at the pay-per-view and hopefully becoming the champion.
Same. And just to everyone listening, as much as we make fun of QT and everything like that, when you watch him wrestle, QT is very good in the ring.
Yes,
He's very,
he
very
really
good in
is.
the
He's
ring.
one of those like sound fundamentals
Yes.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's quite good. So now we get a couple of promos that are aimed at this tournament we've got going on. Brian Cage says Dante Martin is not as good as him, but Dante
Yeah.
Martin says, I'm inhuman, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And Brian Cage says, well, I'm not a man, I'm a machine. So the match is apparently made in Marvel Heaven. We have the machine versus the inhuman.
It's funny. I was laughing through this promo because I'm like, it's so ridiculous. It's so
Yep.
dumb. But I mean, these two guys are great. So
Yeah.
so as we said, it looks like Rampage is shaping up to be so much better than Dynamite.
Yes.
But if you think about it, Dynamite could have been great today
Could have been.
had it just been the final match, the Trent match, and maybe throw in another one, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
would have been a
sure.
really good show.
And,
But
and maybe let Lance Archer beat down Ricky Stark some more in the back.
that was kind of funny, right? Because they're fighting. So that was kind of I was like, at first I was like, who's he beating up there? Then I realized it was Ricky
It was
Starks.
Ricky Starks. I
Oh my
love
god.
Lance Archer. I really do. He's another one of those big guys that can actually wrestle. And he doesn't wear red skinny jeans.
No, he doesn't wear. He's not a poser wearing red skinny jeans. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So that brings us to the main event. Sammy Guevara with Ty Mello taking on Bryan Danielson in a 2 out of 3 falls match. They come out flying, especially Danielson. Chops, elbows, forearms, kicks, but Sammy takes Danielson outside of the ring with a drop kick early. He eats a forearm, though, trying to tope. Bryan Danielson with his shotgun drop kick, but Tay stops Danielson's dive to the outside. And as Danielson is over there, Sammy picks up a chair and he wings it. And I mean wings it at Danielson, hits him in the head. And there's a DQ called. He then takes the mic to Danielson's eye while the crowd chants, "Fuck you, Sammy." We go to a full commercial break at this point,
Oh my
not
God, I
picture in
know.
picture.
Yeah, full commercial
Full
break.
commercial break. I have no bloody clue what happened during this commercial break.
Yeah.
But we come back to Sammy working over Danielson's head. Danielson is now bleeding. His eye actually looks swollen. Sammy does a GTH to him shortly after that, and it's now 1-1. So we're into the final fall. Danielson manages to toss Sammy from the turnbuckle. Top rope headbutt misses, though, and Sammy locks in the crossface. Danielson manages to get to his feet, but Sammy drops him down again with the hold still locked on. This was a pretty cool spot. Danielson then reaches the ropes. Danielson comes back with a series of headbutts. I mean, he's selling the head and he's selling like his eye and stuff, but comes back with the headbutts, which just crazy, like a really good, like almost Japanese style spot here. Sammy hops up on the ropes, but jumping off, he eats a flying knee from Danielson and both are down. Sammy works Danielson over again outside the ring, but back in the ring, they collide with crossbodies. Danielson covers Sammy, but Ty pulls the ref off, causing her to get ejected. Danielson hangs Sammy in the Tree of Woe, does his kicks and a low drop kick to the head. He tries to set Sammy up in the turnbuckle, but a leaping knee sends Danielson all the way to the floor. Sammy then does a shooting star press off the top turnbuckle to the floor to a rousing chant of "You still suck." Danielson counters a double jump cutter into a Jujigatami, transitioning to the label lock, but Sammy makes it to the rope. They get the yes kicks, but Sammy comes back with a leaping knee, sets him up for the GTH, but it's countered into a poison Rana and a Busaiku knee. But Guevara hangs on into the walls and then the Lion Tamer, almost, and then back into the walls again. But Danielson manages to make it to the rope. Sammy goes for another GTH. This gets reversed into a Busaiku knee and a knuckle lock that Sammy gets on him. He jumps into a rope climb DDT and then the Senton Atomico, but he eats knees. And this leads to Danielson getting on him, hammer and anvil elbows into the label lock. Danielson adjusts the grip when Sammy's trying desperately to get to the ropes, and Sammy taps out. Danielson wins 2-1. And that's the end of Dynamite.
What a way to end the show. This match was fantastic. Like, listen, audience, Sammy Guevara does not suck. Let's get one thing straight. You may not like his personality. You may not like some of the things he's done outside the ring. But remember, as we said, he's a very young guy. He's learning. But holy crap, is he talented. There were spots in this match I was like, oh my God, what did Sammy Guevara just do? Right. And the way he was able to work with Danielson, like, I remember I said, like, Danielson, he can work with anybody, right? It's absolutely amazing. And I said to you before, I'm like, you know what? I have a feeling Danielson's going to put this guy over. Even though Danielson won this match, the star of this match was Sammy Guevara. Okay. That's just it. Like, he was absolutely amazing in this match. And I'm just taking nothing away from Danielson. Danielson played his part, you know, he let Sammy beat him down for a long period of time. Sammy cheats to get the first pinfall, and then Danielson he pins Danielson cleanly, right? That's the 1-1 pin. That was a clean pin, right? He beat him. Now you could say the chair shot and everything like that, but like, I was very, very, and we've seen Sammy Guevara live. We know how good he is. I was very impressed with Sammy Guevara tonight. I don't know why, because we've seen this before. So I don't know why I'm shocked. But yeah, honestly, I was absolutely impressed with Sammy. I thought this match was absolutely fantastic. Match of the night? Hells yes. This was such a great match.
What else were you going to pick on this show?
Regardless.
No, I know, but I mean, this match, I think what helped this match was that it was the only,
Only match.
I mean, the Trent J match was
That was
good,
good. Yeah.
but this was the only like standout wow match on the whole show
Yeah. Yeah. Fair
in
enough.
a company that's supposed to be built on selling the product based on in-ring product.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're right, great match. My match of the night too. I mean, what else am I gonna
Yeah,
pick?
that's true. That's
I
true.
got to admit, I was taken out of it a little bit at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
because of that chair shot.
The chair shot. Okay.
He wung it at him. Do you remember when he hit Matt Hardy with the chair?
Mm-hmm.
Threw it through a chair at Matt Hardy and gave him 13 stitches
Yeah.
in the head. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Sammy's got to calm down with those chair throws because
Yeah.
kid, You're an amazing talent. Stop throwing chairs at people's heads. You are not the chairman of AEW. Okay.
You don't want to be the chairman either.
No, no, exactly. Sean Spears already has that title. So listen, calm down with the chair throws. It looks like you actually hit him in the head. He
Yeah.
didn't get his arm up in time, at least not from the angle I saw it on. And then they
Yeah.
showed the replay, and I'm like, yeah, he didn't get his arm up in time. That chair legit winged him in the head.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Sammy, you need to relax. So I was a little worried about Danielson watching this match because I'm like, you just hit Danielson in the head with a chair. I'm like, that's not cool, dude. That's not cool. I don't think you suck. You're an amazing wrestler, but so that took me out of it a little bit because I was still sitting there. Every time I saw Danielson's face, I'm like, oh, the chair, the chair. Oh, are you okay, dude? I hope you're okay, man. Like, I was like legit worried for Danielson all through the match. I'm like, please don't come out tomorrow and have like a concussion or like your
Yeah.
eyes messed or you're injured or something like that, please. So anyway, yeah, the match itself, I mean, the storytelling was great. I mean, Danielson, he's got hit in the face, his eye's a mess, there's blood on him, he's got to fight back from underneath for the rest of the match. Sammy was insanely good. I mean, my God, that and I can't remember the name of it, the flip he did, the shooting star press to the
Yeah.
outside. How good does he look doing the shooting star press? Seriously. Like just insane. He's just so talented. And I
Yeah.
mean, Danielson is just superlative, right? From selling to just his aggression, his hits. I mean, again, it's just I raved about them 2 weeks ago. I'm raving about them again today, minus the chair shot. I thought that was a good way to get the first fall. I mean, give up a
The
fall
DQ.
to get,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't work out for him in the end, but that's okay. So yeah, I think the match did what it needed to do. Now we've got the big question mark around Danielson coming into the four-way match, right? I still keep hoping that something will happen next week, like they're all just like blah blah screaming at each other, and the House of Black just comes out and levels all of them. But um, I just want to see that. I just something with the House of Black. I don't know, like do something. But
House of
anyway,
Black
yeah.
versus the Blackpool Combat Club. That wouldn't be a bad
Oh yeah, I'd take it.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. So anything on this show reached the Omega level.
So I actually enjoyed this could be because of how bad the rest of the show was, but I mean I really thoroughly enjoyed the Guevara Danielson match just because of the athleticism of Sammy. And you're right, some of these moves he was pulling off, you're like, dude, how do you do a shooting star press off the top like that, right? And it
Mhm.
make it seem so seamless. Like, how are you doing these like sometimes I'm always afraid for the wrestlers because I think that the barriers are too close to the ring. So I'm like, these guys are gonna fly onto the barriers. But no, I thoroughly enjoy this match. And I don't know, like here's the problem because it's like, was the rest of the show so tainted that that's why I'm seeing this match on such a high level?
Yeah.
But as we were talking, I looked at last week. I
Yeah.
looked at the matches from last week. It was still heads and tails better than any of the matches last week as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe this match was an Omega level match, right? Because just because of these two, how great they are, right? And you're right, me
Mhm.
like the chair shot didn't take me out of it because you're right, it came out of nowhere, and I was like, ouch, I look like I connected. But Danielson, he's the type of guy that's like, bring it, throw it, like hit me with that thing, right? That was his whole thing about WWE. He's like, they babied him too much. They didn't want him to get hit. He's an insane person. I swear to God, this guy's nuts. And hence why, like, when he first came into AEW, they were like, dropping him on his neck. Anyways, but that's just him. I thoroughly enjoy this match, and I would say that this match, probably in comparison, I'm going to put that caveat there, probably in comparison to what we've received in the last 2 weeks, is on the Omega level for me, just because it surpassed everything I've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my yeah is not that I disagree or that I don't even think that that's right. I'm just thinking about it. So I mean, okay, Tetsuya Naito and Will
Mhm.
Ospreay, clearly an Omega level match.
Exactly.
I mean, beyond that, I mean, it's right up there, match of the year candidate.
Mhm.
An Omega level doesn't have to be match of the year; it just has to
No,
be highly recommended.
yeah.
Right? I would have to say this match is highly recommended, but I highly recommend this match. I think I would strongly recommend this match. I think if I were to say, if you're going to look at Dynamite and the kind of matches they can offer, Yeah, sure. Check this match out. You'll get a good taste of like the best of
Of the
what you
best of
can see on
Dynamite. Yeah.
AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
Omega level. Oh, it's a hard one. I didn't like this as much as their first match. Of
Yeah,
course, I
yeah,
was also pulled out of it by the chair more than you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
look, I don't
I
care if
enjoyed it.
Danielson's like, yeah, hit me in the head with a chair. I mean, Katsuyori Shibata did a number of headbutts as well, and the only way that he got stopped was a subdural hematoma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like, guys, sometimes wrestlers need to be stopped for their own good.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
do not want
Sometimes they're not the
wrestlers killing
smartest.
themselves for
Yeah,
my enjoyment, literally.
yeah,
Okay.
fair enough.
Please work safely. I enjoy the matches a lot more when you work safely. Sammy, stop winging chairs at people's heads. I think that just because of that, I have to say that it's not an Omega level match for me because I don't think anything where someone puts someone else in danger like that could be at the Omega level. Kenny Omega is one of the safest workers
That's
in the
true.
business.
He
He
is.
was able to wrestle a 9-year-old girl or 11-year-old girl, however old she was,
Yeah.
safely and Inzugiri'd her in the match safely. Okay. The dude Inzugiri'd a girl. Oh, Kenny, you're so hilarious.
We miss you, Kenny. We do.
Yes, we do. Please come back. And bring the Bucks with you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna say nothing Omega level. Damn close, damn close. I would say, I understand you calling it the Omega level, and I wouldn't sit here and disagree with you or argue with you for it. For me, it was just I think the chair shot was just a little much for me.
Fair enough.
Yep. I'll be interested to see what comes of that. But anyway, maybe nothing. Because the
Maybe nothing.
announcers certainly didn't say too much about it after man, he hit him in the head with a chair. Anyway. Okay, cool. Well, that was Dynamite. We both picked the same. We were right about the match of the night. I would say overall we're getting some Dynamites that are
Okay.
kind of mid the last
Yeah.
couple, right? This one had a really
Mid.
good closing match. Good match between Trent and Lethal, but mid.
Yeah. And the funny thing about this Dynamite is they literally promoted the fact that they're recording Dark and they're recording Dynamite and they're recording Rampage back to back to back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tony Schiavone clearly pointed that out during the road to Boston. So it's like I guess the people of Boston are getting a really good show combined with Rampage because Rampage has apparently all the good matches on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right. The Rampage, sorry, Dynamite on its own was very mid
Mm-hmm.
to even pretty low. Like I besides the final match, there was really you could have missed the entire show,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it
There
would
was
have
a
not
lot of
changed anything.
skippable. Yeah,
Yeah.
just skippable.
So
Britt's
yeah,
promo, I enjoyed Britt and Saraya. I
that
enjoyed
was good. That was
Moxley.
good.
MJF was good. Jay and Trent, sure.
They were
Um,
good if they didn't have like all the interference crap at
yeah,
the end,
exactly.
but
Yeah. Good up until the ending. Worth checking out up until the ending. But other than that, yeah. Well, we're missing the great one.
we are, and the Bucks.
Yeah,
We're missing the elite. I mean, just get them back on our TV and everything will be okay again.
it is. It is. But for now, as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.